Welcome to Wildlife for Sleep, a place where ancient oceans breathe slowly, where shadows drift beneath the waves, and where stories are told, not to awaken the mind but to gently quiet it if these facts help you relax or slowly drift into sleep. Please like the video, subscribe to Wildlife for Sleep, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps this channel continue creating peaceful, slow science-inspired sleep documentaries. Now settle into a comfortable position, let your breathing soften, and allow the surface world to fade away. Tonight we descend into the deepest waters of the sea, long before modern coastlines formed, long before humans mapped the continents, long before the first fishing nets ever touched salt water. The ancestors of spider crabs were already moving slowly across ancient seabeds, beneath shallow Paleozoic seas that covered much of Earth more than 400 million years ago. In those early oceans, arthropods diversified into countless forms, some becoming trilobites that would later vanish, others evolving into the crustacean lineages that persist today. And among these branching evolutionary paths, the foundations of modern crabs quietly emerged, guided by natural selection, shaped by pressure, temperature, chemistry, and time beyond human comprehension. Crabs belong to the phylum Arthropoda, a vast group defined by jointed limbs, segmented bodies, and external skeletons made of chitin. Within this immense family tree, the order Decapita gave rise to shrimp, lobsters, crayfish, and true crabs, while spider crabs belong to the superfamily Magidea, creatures recognized by their elongated legs, compact bodies, and remarkable ability to blend into surrounding environments. Fossil evidence suggests that early Magid crabs appeared during the Jurassic period, when dinosaurs ruled land and ammonites filled the seas. Even then, elongated limbs allowed these crabs to navigate soft sediments and complex reef structures, minimizing energy use while maximizing reach. As Earth's oceans deepened and cooled, tectonic plates rearranged continents, altering currents and nutrient flows, and gradually creating the vast deep-sea environments we know today. Some crab lineages followed food downward, adapting to increasing pressure, decreasing light, and colder temperatures, while shallow water relatives evolved brighter colors and thicker shells. Deep-sea spider crabs moved into darkness, where camouflage shifted from visual deception, structural mimicry, their bodies becoming platforms for sponges, algae, hydroids, and bacteria, turning living animals into moving ecosystems. Modern deep-sea spider crabs are found primarily along continental slopes and abyssal plains, at depths ranging from several hundred meters to more than 2,000 meters, where sunlight no longer penetrates, temperatures hover near freezing, and food arrives only in slow drifting particles from the surface above. Here, survival depends on patience, efficiency, and sensory awareness rather than speed. These crabs do not chase prey. Instead, they walk methodically across sediment plains, probing with delicate claws, detecting chemical traces of decaying organic matter, fallen plankton, whale remains, or small invertebrates hidden beneath the mud. Their bodies reflect this lifestyle. The carapace remains relatively small, conserving material in an environment where calcium carbonate is scarce, while legs grow extraordinarily long, sometimes spanning more than 3 meters from tip to tip in the largest species. This design distributes body weight across wide areas of soft substrate, preventing sinking, while allowing slow, graceful movement over fragile benthic communities. Joints are reinforced to withstand crushing pressure. Muscles adapted for steady contraction rather than rapid bursts, and metabolic rates are dramatically reduced, enabling survival on minimal energy input. Respiration. Deep-sea spider crabs occurs through specialized gills housed within protected chambers. Oxygen is extracted from cold, dense seawater, which carries less dissolved oxygen than surface waters. Hemocyanin, the copper-based respiratory pigment in their blood, binds oxygen efficiently even at low concentrations, giving their internal fluids a faint bluish tint. This biochemical adaptation allows them to function where many shallow water species would suffocate. Vision is limited in most deep sea spider crab species. Eyes are often reduced or modified to detect only faint bioluminescent signals. Instead, tactile and chemical senses dominate. Fine sensory hairs along the legs and claws detect vibration, pressure changes, and dissolved organic compounds, enabling the crab to smell food across surprising distances. Every step is guided by invisible gradients drifting through still water. Reproduction follows slow rhythms dictated by cold temperatures. Females carry fertilized eggs for many months, sometimes over a full year, protecting them beneath the abdomen until larvae are ready to enter the water column. These microscopic offspring rise toward surface layers, feeding on plankton before gradually descending again as they mature, reconnecting shallow ecosystems with deep habitats in one continuous biological loop, a cycle repeated quietly for millions of years. In this way, the deep-sea spider crab represents far more than a single species. It embodies an ancient strategy of survival, an architecture shaped by gravity, darkness, scarcity, and time, each individual moving slowly across sediment fields that rarely feel disturbance, each step writing invisible lines across landscapes few humans will ever see. And as we begin to explore deeper into Earth's oceans, these silent wanderers remind us that complex life does not require sunlight, only patience, adaptation, and the steady pulse of planetary systems working far beyond human awareness. The body of a deep-sea spider crab tells a story written by pressure, darkness, and scarcity. Every curve, every joint, and every filament exists for efficiency rather than appearance. Its form is not designed for speed, nor for strength in sudden bursts, but for endurance across vast, quiet plains where energy must be conserved and movement must be deliberate. At the center of the animal lies the carapace, a compact armored shield that protects vital organs. Unlike many shallow water crabs with wide, flattened shells, the spider crab's carapace is narrow and elevated, reducing material cost while maintaining structural integrity under immense hydrostatic pressure. This compact core houses the heart, digestive organs, reproductive tissues, and gill chambers, all tightly organized to minimize internal space where pressure could cause damage. Radiating outward from this small central body are the legs, extraordinarily long, thin, and jointed with precise mechanical efficiency. In the largest deep-sea species, these limbs may extend several meters from end to end, transforming a relatively small body into a vast walking structure. This design spreads weight across a wide area, preventing the crab from sinking into soft abyssal sediments, while allowing it to step gently across fragile benthic ecosystems without crushing them. Each leg contains a sequence of articulated segments, connected by flexible joints reinforced with hardened cuticle. Muscles within these segments are adapted for sustained contraction rather than rapid acceleration. Movements are slow, controlled, and economical, every step calculated not by thought, but by neural patterns refined over evolutionary time. The exoskeleton itself is composed primarily of chitin, strengthened with mineral deposits, yet thinner than that of shallow water relatives. Calcium carbonate becomes less available in deep cold waters, and maintaining thick shells would require too much energy. Instead, spider crabs rely on flexibility and structural geometry rather than heavy armor. Their bodies yield slightly under pressure rather than resisting it rigidly. Covering much of the carapace and limbs are small hooked projections and textured surfaces. These serve multiple purposes: increasing grip on sediment, reducing drag in moving water, and most remarkably, providing attachment points for living camouflage sponges, bryozoans, hydra, and algae-like organisms colonize these surfaces, turning the crab into a moving reef. This biological covering breaks up the animal's outline, conceals it from predators, and may even provide chemical protection through toxins produced by attached organisms. The claws, or chelae, are comparatively delicate, not built for crushing shells like those of coastal crabs. Instead, they are precision instruments, capable of probing sediment, lifting organic fragments, and manipulating small invertebrates. Feeding is careful and methodical. The crab tests material with sensory hairs before bringing it to its mouth, ensuring energy is not wasted on inedible debris. Hidden beneath the carapace lie the gills, arranged in protected chambers where seawater flows continuously. Oxygen extraction here must be highly efficient. Deep waters contain less dissolved oxygen, and respiration occurs slowly. Hemocyanin in the blood binds oxygen at low concentrations, circulating it through tissues with remarkable effectiveness despite near-freezing temperatures. The nervous system is decentralized, as in most arthropods, with clusters of nerve cells distributed throughout the body. This allows limbs to respond independently to local stimuli, enabling precise coordination even when signals travel slowly through cold tissue. The crab does not rely on a single command center. It operates through networks, mirroring the distributed nature of the deep sea environment itself. Vision plays only a limited role. Many deep sea spider crabs possess reduced eyes, adapted to detect faint bioluminescent flashes rather than detailed images. Instead, sensory hairs covering legs and antennae dominate perception. These mechanoreceptors detect vibrations, pressure shifts, and chemical gradients drifting through still water, allowing the crab to feel its surroundings in 3 dimensions. Internally, metabolism runs at a reduced pace. Enzymes function efficiently at low temperatures. Cellular processes slow, conserving energy in a world where meals arrive unpredictably. Growth is gradual. Molting cycles may take years, and lifespans extend far beyond those of shallow water relatives. Patience becomes physiology. Even reproduction reflects this anatomy of restraint. Females brood eggs beneath their abdomen for extended periods, protecting developing embryos in a stable microenvironment. Larvae released into the water column carry with them the genetic memory of this ancient architecture, drifting upward before eventually descending to begin life on the deep sea floor. Every element of the deep-sea spider crab's body speaks of adaptation without excess. Nothing wasted, nothing hurried. A living structure optimized for quiet persistence beneath crushing pressure, moving slowly across landscapes shaped by gravity and time, carrying with it millions of years of evolutionary refinement in every measured step. Far below the reach of sunlight, beyond the continental shelf, where pressure increases by 1 atmosphere every 10 meters, the abyssal plain stretches outward in silent vastness, an immense landscape of fine sediment, scattered rocks, and slow-moving currents. Here, deep-sea spider crabs begin their long, quiet journeys, walking across terrain that rarely changes, guided not by landmarks, but by chemical traces drifting invisibly through cold water. Movement on the abyssal plain is not hurried. Each step is placed with care. Elongated legs lift slowly, joints flex with controlled precision, and the crab advances only centimeters at a time. This deliberate gait minimizes energy expenditure, reduces disturbance of sediment, and allows continuous sensory sampling of the environment. Every contact with the seafloor transmits information upward through sensory hairs embedded in the limbs. The sediment beneath them is soft, composed of microscopic shells, decaying organic matter, and mineral particles that have fallen slowly from surface waters over centuries. Pressing too firmly would cause sinking. So the spider crab distributes its weight across multiple contact points, maintaining stability while preserving fragile benthic habitats. As it walks, the crab probes the substrate with its claws, lifting small fragments, testing texture, and sampling chemical signals. Food here is sparse, scattered, and unpredictable, consisting mainly of detritus, tiny invertebrates, bacterial mats, and occasional larger carcasses that descend from above, whale falls, fish remains, or drifting jelly organisms become temporary oases, drawing multiple scavengers together in slow gatherings. When such resources appear, spider crabs arrive gradually, not in swarms, but as individuals converging over hours or days, each feeding quietly, removing small portions, never exhausting energy in competition. Cooperation emerges not through communication, but through shared restraint. Navigation relies primarily on chemoreception. Dissolved organic compounds guide movement across long distances. Subtle gradients in nutrient concentration tell the crab where to turn, where to pause, and where to continue in this darkness. Smell becomes map, current becomes road. Currents themselves shape behavior. Weak bottom flows carry food particles along predictable pathways. Spider crabs learn these invisible routes through evolutionary memory, settling preferentially where organic material accumulates. Ridges, canyon edges, and slope transitions often host higher densities of life, becoming slow corridors of activity. Predators exist here: deep-sea fish, octopuses, and larger crustaceans. Yet encounters are rare. Vast distances separate individuals, and camouflage renders spider crabs nearly indistinguishable from their surroundings. Their bodies decorated with sponges and hydroids, outlines broken into organic shapes, making detection difficult even for specialized hunters. When threatened, escape is minimal. Instead, the crab freezes, relying on stillness and disguise. Movement attracts attention. Immobility preserves invisibility. This strategy aligns perfectly with an environment where remaining unseen matters more than outrunning danger. The abyssal plain also experiences episodic disturbances. Sediment slides, turbidity currents, and seismic activity occasionally reshape small regions. Spider crabs respond by relocating slowly, reestablishing themselves where conditions stabilize, demonstrating resilience without urgency. Days here are not marked by light, but by subtle tidal cycles transmitted through kilometers of water. Pressure fluctuations guide internal rhythms, influencing feeding, movement, and reproductive timing. Even in complete darkness, planetary mechanics continue to govern biological life. In this immense quiet world, the deep-sea spider crab walks continuously yet almost imperceptibly, covering vast distances over months, each journey invisible to surface observers, each step part of a slow planetary choreography connecting surface productivity with abyssal ecosystems. They are not wanderers in search of destination. They are participants in circulation, moving matter across the seafloor, redistributing nutrients, and shaping microbial communities through their passage, engineers of subtle change in landscapes few humans will ever witness. And so, across endless plains beneath crushing pressure, spider crabs continue their measured walks, tracing invisible paths through darkness, sustained by patience, guided by chemistry, and bound to Earth's deepest rhythms. In the deep sea, hunger does not arrive suddenly. It lingers, stretches across weeks, and resolves only when drifting nutrients finally descend from surface worlds far above. Feeding here is not an event, it is a slow negotiation with scarcity. And the deep-sea spider crab has evolved to thrive within this quiet uncertainty. Most nourishment reaches the abyss as marine snow, a continuous fall of microscopic particles composed of dead plankton, fecal pellets, fragmented algae, and organic debris, descending through kilometers of water at a pace of meters per day. By the time it reaches the seafloor, its energy content is greatly diminished. Yet it remains the primary food source sustaining benthic ecosystems. Spider crabs intercept this slow rain in two ways: directly from sediment and indirectly through scavenging larger organic falls, walking across plains while probing soft substrate with delicate claws, detecting chemical signatures of decomposing matter, lifting particles carefully, filtering edible material from mineral debris, every feeding motion precise, conserving energy while maximizing nutritional gain. Occasionally, sudden abundance arrives when a fish carcass, jelly organism, or whale fragment descends into darkness. These rare events become deep-sea feasts, attracting diverse scavengers over days or weeks. Spider crabs approach slowly, joining assemblages of amphipods, hagfish, brittle stars, and other crustaceans, each species removing small portions, sharing resources without aggression. Competition replaced by coexistence dictated by slow metabolism and limited mobility. During such feeding gatherings, spider crabs display remarkable restraint. They do not defend territory. They do not attack rivals. Instead, individuals feed side by side, withdrawing when satiated, allowing others to approach. Energy is conserved by avoiding conflict. Survival depends on efficiency rather than dominance. Their mouthparts are adapted for fine manipulation. Maxillipeds guide particles inward. Mandibles grind soft material, and digestive enzymes extract nutrients slowly, processing food over extended periods. Once ingested, nutrients are stored as lipids within tissues, creating internal reserves that sustain the crab through long fasting intervals. This ability to endure starvation is critical. Weeks may pass without meaningful feeding opportunities. During these periods, activity decreases, movement slows, and metabolism drops further. The spider crab enters a state of energetic conservation, reducing oxygen consumption, minimizing muscular effort, and waiting patiently for the next delivery of organic matter. Feeding behavior is also influenced by current patterns. Gentle bottom flows concentrate particles along ridges and depressions. Spider crabs learn these accumulation zones through evolutionary selection, often congregating in areas where marine snow settles more densely. Their presence further modifies sediment structure, redistributing nutrients across the seafloor. Chemical sensing guides every feeding decision. Sensory hairs detect dissolved amino acids and fatty acids released by decaying matter. These invisible trails lead spider crabs toward resources across surprising distances. In darkness, chemistry replaces vision. Smell becomes navigation. Even microorganisms play a role. Bacteria colonize organic debris rapidly, converting complex compounds into simpler forms. Spider crabs ingest both bacteria and their substrates, integrating microbial productivity into their own nutrition, creating layered food webs within a single mouthful of sediment. Through this slow feeding process, spider crabs act as recyclers of deep-sea carbon, transforming surface-derived energy into benthic biomass, linking atmospheric processes with abyssal life, their quiet consumption contributing to global carbon cycling in ways only recently recognized by science. Thus, feeding in eternal night becomes an exercise in patience, precision, and persistence. Every captured particle matters, every stored lipid extends survival, and every measured step brings the spider crab closer to its next unseen meal. In a world without light, survival depends not on color, but on texture, outline, and chemical disguise. And deep-sea spider crabs have refined these strategies into one of the most remarkable forms of biological camouflage on Earth. Their exoskeleton is not smooth. It is covered in tiny hooked structures called setae, microscopic anchors that allow living organisms to attach securely to the crab's body. Sponges, hydroids, bryozoans, and filamentous algae-like colonies settle onto these surfaces, gradually transforming the crab into a moving fragment of reef or sediment-covered rock. This living armor serves multiple purposes simultaneously. Visually, it breaks up the crab's outline, making it nearly indistinguishable from surrounding substrates. Chemically, many attached organisms produce toxins or unpleasant compounds, discouraging predators from biting into what appears to be ordinary seafloor growth. Physically, the added layer softens impacts and distributes pressure during contact with rough terrain. Unlike passive colonization, spider crabs actively participate in this process, using their claws to collect fragments of sponge or hydroid, placing them deliberately onto their carapace, positioning living camouflage exactly where it provides maximum concealment. This behavior represents a rare example of tool-assisted body modification in invertebrates, guided by instinct rather than cognition. Over time, these organisms grow, expanding coverage, altering the crab's silhouette continuously. No two individuals look alike. Each becomes a unique composite of animal and attached life, moving ecosystem rather than solitary creature. This symbiosis extends beyond camouflage. Attached sponges filter water around the crab, improving local oxygenation. Hydroids capture passing plankton, some of which becomes accessible to the crab, while microbial communities thrive within this miniature habitat, processing waste and recycling nutrients. The spider crab becomes both host and participant in a layered biological network. Predators encountering such disguised crabs often hesitate. Sensory systems detect unfamiliar textures and chemical signatures, choosing instead to pursue simpler prey. The camouflage does not guarantee safety. but it reduces detection probability dramatically. A critical advantage in an environment where escape options are limited. Camouflage also protects against environmental hazards, sediment abrasion, minor impacts, and pressure fluctuations are buffered by the living coating, transforming fragile exoskeleton into resilient composite. This strategy reflects deep-sea economics. Building heavy armor would require too much energy. Instead, spider crabs outsource protection to other organisms, creating mutual benefit through cohabitation. Survival achieved through partnership rather than solitary strength. Even during molting, when the crab sheds its exoskeleton, it rapidly collects new camouflage, reassembling its living armor within days, restoring invisibility before vulnerability becomes fatal. In this way, the deep-sea spider crab dissolves the boundary between individual and environment, becoming landscape, habitat, and organism simultaneously. A walking reef that carries life across the abyssal plain. And so, beneath eternal darkness, spider crabs continue decorating themselves with living matter, crafting armor from biology, and moving quietly through seafloor ecosystems as composite beings shaped by cooperation rather than isolation. In the deep sea, reproduction unfolds slowly, shaped by cold temperatures, limited food, and immense distances between individuals. For the deep-sea spider crab, finding a mate is not a frequent event. It is a rare alignment of movement, chemistry, and timing. Adults wander independently across the seafloor, guided by chemical trails rather than sight. When reproductive readiness approaches, females release subtle pheromones into surrounding water. These invisible signals drift with current, carried across sediment plains, eventually reaching males whose sensory hairs detect faint molecular traces from meters or even tens of meters away. Courtship is minimal. Energy must be conserved. Males approach cautiously, contact antennae and claws, confirming species identity and reproductive condition. Once alignment occurs, mating proceeds quietly, without display, without competition, and without prolonged interaction. After fertilization, females carry developing eggs beneath their abdomen, held securely by specialized appendages, forming a protective brood chamber where embryos develop for many months, sometimes more than a year, depending on temperature and food availability. During this period, the female reduces movement, feeds selectively, and protects her cargo from disturbance, investing enormous energy into a small number of offspring rather than producing thousands with low survival. Probability: eggs grow slowly, nourished by yolk reserves. Embryonic development proceeds at a pace dictated by near-freezing water. Metabolism remains minimal. Cell division measured in days rather than hours. Patience embedded into biology itself. When larvae finally hatch, they enter a radically different world, rising into upper water layers where plankton is abundant, light returns, and predation pressure increases. Here, they exist as microscopic drifting organisms, feeding rapidly, molting frequently, and dispersing widely through surface currents. This pelagic phase may last weeks or months, allowing offspring to spread across vast oceanic distances, connecting distant deep-sea populations genetically, before gravity and behavioral cues draw them downward again toward benthic habitats. Settlement marks a profound transformation. Larvae descend, metamorphose into juvenile crabs, and begin life on the seafloor, selecting attachment zones where chemical signals indicate suitable conditions. From this moment, growth slows dramatically, and deep-sea existence begins. Survival during early stages is low. Most larvae never return to the depths, becoming food for surface predators or failing to locate appropriate habitat. Yet those that succeed carry forward genetic lineages that have persisted for millions of years. This reproductive strategy balances scarcity with dispersal, producing few offspring, but distributing them across wide regions, ensuring resilience against localized disturbances, volcanic activity, sediment slides, or ecosystem collapse. In this way, deep-sea spider crabs maintain continuity across unstable geological timescales, their young drifting between worlds, linking surface productivity with abyssal persistence. And so, in cold darkness, reproduction unfolds quietly, guided by chemistry rather than display, sustained by patience rather than abundance, carrying life forward through slow cycles invisible to surface observers. Growth in the deep sea does not follow the rhythms familiar to surface life. It unfolds in slow increments, measured not in weeks or months, but in years. And for the deep-sea spider crab, every increase in size requires a complete rebuilding of the body. Like all arthropods, spider crabs are confined by their exoskeleton, rigid armor that cannot expand. To grow, they must shed it entirely in a process known as molting. This event represents both renewal and vulnerability, a moment when the crab exists without protection, soft-bodied and exposed in an environment where recovery must occur quietly. Preparation for molting begins long before the shell is released. Calcium and minerals are gradually withdrawn from the old exoskeleton and stored internally. Hormonal changes trigger tissue separation, and new cuticle forms beneath the old shell. When conditions align, temperature stable, food reserves sufficient, and disturbance minimal, the crab withdraws into stillness. The old exoskeleton splits along predetermined seams, and the spider crab slowly pulls free legs, carapace, antennae, emerging into the cold water as a pale, flexible form for hours or days afterward. The new shell remains soft, allowing the body to expand slightly before hardening begins. During this period, movement is minimal, feeding stops, and camouflage organisms are temporarily lost. Hardening takes time. Minerals are redeposited, cuticle stiffens, joints regain strength, and once structural integrity returns, the crab resumes activity, immediately beginning the process of rebuilding its living armor by collecting sponges and hydroids from the surrounding environment. Molting intervals lengthen with age. Juveniles may molt several times per year, while adults may wait years between molts. Growth slows dramatically as energy becomes focused on maintenance rather than expansion. Some individuals likely live for decades, perhaps longer, though precise lifespans remain unknown due to the difficulty of long-term deep-sea observation. This slow growth reflects environmental constraints. Cold temperatures reduce metabolic rates, food scarcity limits energy availability, and stability favors longevity over rapid development. Time becomes a resource rather than an obstacle. Injury is also addressed through molting. Damaged limbs may regenerate gradually across successive molts, each cycle restoring structure incrementally. Until original form returns, patience becomes physiology. Every molt resets vulnerability and resilience simultaneously, shedding the past while creating future capacity. A cycle repeated quietly across abyssal plains. Through these slow transformations, deep-sea spider crabs embody geological time scales, their lives unfolding in harmony with tectonic movement, ocean circulation, and planetary rhythms far beyond human perception. And so, beneath silent water columns, spider crabs grow not by speed, but by persistence, shedding shells across decades, advancing life one careful molt at a time. Even in the deep sea, where life is sparse and encounters are rare and danger persists, the deep-sea spider crab moves through an environment shaped by silent predators, geological disturbance, and shifting chemistry. Survival here depends not on speed, but on invisibility, endurance, and careful alignment with surroundings. Natural predators include large benthic fish, deep-sea octopuses, sleeper sharks, and occasionally other crustaceans. These hunters rely on vibration, chemical detection, and low-light vision to locate prey. Yet spider crabs reduce detection probability through stillness and camouflage, becoming indistinguishable from surrounding sediment and reef growth. When approached, spider crabs do not flee rapidly. Rapid movement consumes energy and increases visibility. Instead, they freeze, allowing attached sponges and hydroids to mask outline and scent. This strategy often causes predators to pass without investigation, a survival technique refined over millions of years. If physical contact occurs, long legs provide distance between body core and threat. Predators may remove limbs, but regeneration restores structure over subsequent molts. Survival continues even after significant injury. Environmental threats are equally significant. Turbidity currents can bury individuals beneath sediment. Volcanic activity may alter chemical composition of habitats, and seismic events can restructure seafloor landscapes instantly. Spider crabs respond through slow relocation, emerging from burial, or dispersing via larval stages to recolonize altered zones. Modern pressures now extend into these depths, Deep-sea trawling damages benthic communities. Mining exploration disturbs sediment layers, and climate-driven changes in surface productivity reduce organic material reaching the abyss. These impacts propagate downward slowly, yet persistently, challenging organisms adapted to stability rather than rapid change. Unlike surface species, deep-sea spider crabs cannot migrate quickly to new regions. Their movement is measured, and habitats are discontinuous. Resilience depends on larval dispersal rather than adult mobility. Despite these challenges, spider crabs endure. Their flexible physiology, low metabolic demands, and regenerative capacity provide buffers against disturbance. Though recovery operates on decades-long timescales, each individual represents an investment of time and energy accumulated over many years. Loss is not easily replaced. Populations recover slowly, making deep-sea ecosystems particularly vulnerable to sustained disruption. Yet through natural history, spider crabs have survived mass extinctions, ocean anoxic events, and climatic oscillations. Their persistence rooted in adaptability to scarcity rather than abundance. And so, beneath shifting seas, deep-sea spider crabs continue navigating threats quietly, relying on camouflage, patience, and regeneration to persist within one of Earth's most demanding environments. Far above the abyssal plain, microscopic phytoplankton bloom in sunlit waters, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, converting light into organic matter. This surface productivity forms the foundation of marine food webs, yet its influence extends thousands of meters downward, ultimately sustaining organisms like the deep-sea spider crab. As plankton die or are consumed, organic particles sink slowly through the water column, forming marine snow, a continuous downward transfer of carbon-rich material. This biological pump moves atmospheric carbon into the deep ocean, where it can remain stored for centuries or longer. Spider crabs participate in this planetary system quietly, feeding on sedimented organic matter, scavenging larger falls, and incorporating surface-derived carbon into their own tissues. Each meal represents energy captured from sunlight weeks or months earlier. Through digestion, respiration, and waste production, spider crabs transform this carbon again, releasing some back into surrounding water as dissolved compounds, depositing some into sediments through fecal pellets, and retaining some within long-lived biomass, thus contributing to deep-sea carbon sequestration. Their movement across the seafloor redistributes organic material, mixing surface-derived carbon into deeper sediment layers, enhancing microbial activity, and influencing chemical gradients that shape benthic ecosystems. Even after death, spider crab bodies become concentrated carbon sources, feeding scavengers and microbes, transferring energy through successive trophic levels, until remaining material is buried beneath accumulating sediments, effectively locking carbon away from atmospheric exchange. Larval dispersal also plays a role. Surface-feeding juveniles convert planktonic carbon into biomass, then descend, transporting energy vertically across ocean layers, linking epipelagic productivity with abyssal communities. This slow circulation of carbon occurs largely unnoticed, yet collectively, deep-sea organisms regulate Earth's climate by storing vast amounts of carbon far from the atmosphere. Spider crabs function as mobile processors within this system, converting diffuse organic input into structured biological pathways. Changes in surface productivity caused by climate shifts, ocean warming, or acidification directly affect this deep carbon supply. Reductions in plankton blooms translate into reduced marine snow, limiting food availability for spider crabs and associated fauna. Thus, the fate of deep-sea spider crabs is intertwined with atmospheric processes occurring thousands of kilometers away, illustrating how deeply connected planetary systems truly are. In their slow feeding, quiet movement, and long lifespans, spider crabs embody the deep ocean's role as Earth's largest carbon reservoir, transforming surface life into deep time storage through countless invisible steps. In the abyss, vision becomes secondary, and perception shifts toward chemistry, vibration, and pressure. The deep-sea spider crab inhabits a sensory universe fundamentally different from that of surface animals, one where information travels not through color and shape, but through invisible gradients drifting in cold water. Its eyes are small, often reduced, adapted to detect faint bioluminescent flashes rather than detailed images. Predators and prey announce themselves through brief pulses of light produced by bacteria, jelly organisms, and small fish. Yet most daily navigation relies on non-visual cues. Thousands of microscopic sensory hairs cover the legs, claws, and antennae, each functioning as a mechanoreceptor or chemoreceptor, detecting minute changes in water movement, temperature, and dissolved compounds. These sensors allow spider crabs to construct a three-dimensional map of surroundings without ever seeing them. Chemical detection dominates feeding behavior. Amino acids, fatty acids, and other organic molecules released by decaying matter form plumes that drift with current. Spider crabs follow these trails across surprising distances, orienting their bodies toward increasing concentration gradients. Smell becomes compass. Pressure sensitivity provides additional guidance. Subtle changes in water column movement reveal approaching currents, passing organisms, or geological disturbances. Vibrations travel efficiently through dense seawater, alerting the crab to nearby activity long before contact occurs. Tactile feedback guides locomotion. Each footstep transmits information about sediment texture, slope, and stability, allowing precise adjustment of leg placement, preventing sinking, and enabling movement across uneven terrain. Even internal rhythms respond to external cues. Tidal pressure cycles influence activity levels, feeding timing, and reproductive readiness. Although no light reaches these depths, lunar gravitational forces still modulate behavior through oscillations transmitted through kilometers of water. This sensory integration allows spider crabs to operate effectively in perpetual darkness, coordinating movement, feeding, and interaction through systems optimized for low-energy environments. Such perception requires no conscious interpretation. Neural circuits process stimuli automatically, generating behavioral responses refined over evolutionary time. The crab does not think about its world. It reacts within it. In this way, deep-sea spider crabs reveal that vision is only one of many ways to experience reality. Beneath the surface, life continues guided by forces humans rarely notice. Chemistry, vibration, and gravity shaping behavior more than light ever could. And so, across abyssal plains, spider crabs navigate invisible landscapes, reading water instead of terrain, sensing currents instead of horizons, thriving within a world constructed entirely from signals we seldom perceive. The deep-sea spider crabs are not spread evenly across the ocean floor. Their presence follows patterns shaped by currents, seafloor topography, and the slow delivery of organic matter from above. Populations concentrate along continental slopes, submarine canyons, and seamount chains, where nutrient flow is enhanced and marine snow accumulates more reliably. These regions act as deep-sea corridors, guiding larval dispersal and adult movement across vast distances. Individuals remain solitary for much of their lives, yet genetically, populations are interconnected through drifting larvae carried by upper ocean currents before descending back to the benthos. This connectivity allows spider crabs inhabiting distant locations to remain part of a single extended lineage. Genetic studies reveal surprising similarity between populations separated by hundreds or even thousands of kilometers, illustrating how pelagic larval stages bridge geographic barriers that adults cannot cross. At local scales, density remains low. Encounters between adults are rare, except around episodic food falls, where multiple individuals may gather temporarily. Once resources are exhausted, crabs disperse again into surrounding darkness. Age structure within populations is difficult to determine. Individuals grow slowly, molts are infrequent, and external age markers are absent. Scientists infer age distribution indirectly through size classes and reproductive status, suggesting that deep-sea spider crab communities are dominated by mature adults with relatively few juveniles visible at any time. This pattern reflects high mortality during larval stages, followed by long adult lifespans, a strategy favoring stability over rapid turnover. Adults may persist in the same general region for decades, contributing to population continuity across long periods. Environmental stability historically supported this life history. Deep-sea habitats change slowly compared to coastal zones, allowing spider crab populations to maintain equilibrium over geological timescales. However, modern disturbances now challenge this balance. Bottom trawling, cable installation, and mineral exploration disrupt sediment layers, destroying attachment sites and altering food pathways. Recovery occurs slowly, often over many years. Because recruitment depends on larval return rather than rapid adult recolonization. Climate-driven changes in surface productivity further influence distribution. Reduced plankton blooms translate into diminished marine snow, affecting regions previously capable of sustaining spider crab populations. Shifts in current patterns alter larval dispersal routes, reshaping population connectivity. Despite these pressures, deep-sea spider crabs continue to occupy much of their historical range, adapting quietly to gradual environmental change. Though resilience remains dependent on the persistence of deep ocean stability. Through their distribution patterns, spider crabs reveal the hidden architecture of the deep sea, showing where nutrients travel, where currents converge, and where life finds foothold beneath kilometers of water. For most of human history, deep-sea spider crabs existed beyond reach, moving across abyssal plains unseen, untouched by nets, and unnamed by science. It was only with the advent of deep-sea trawling and later remotely operated vehicles that these animals entered human awareness. Early encounters occurred accidentally. Spider crabs appeared tangled in fishing gear hauled from extreme depths. Their elongated legs folded awkwardly around heavy nets, their bodies covered in unfamiliar organisms. These first specimens puzzled biologists, challenging assumptions about crustacean, size limits, and deep-sea adaptability. As exploration technology advanced, submersibles and ROVs provided direct observation, revealing spider crabs walking slowly across sediment fields, feeding beside brittle stars, and carrying sponges like living cloaks. These images transformed understanding from isolated specimens to living organisms embedded within complex ecosystems. Scientific study expanded rapidly. Researchers measured metabolic rates, analyzed genetic structure, mapped distributions, and documented reproductive cycles, each expedition adding small fragments to a larger picture of deep-sea life. Yet observation remains difficult. Extreme pressure, freezing temperatures, and vast distances limit sampling frequency. Many aspects of spider crab biology are inferred rather than directly measured. Lifespans, population dynamics, and behavioral variation across regions remain partially unknown. Despite these limitations, spider crabs have become symbols of deep-sea resilience, illustrating how complex animals persist in environments once believed too harsh for sustained life. Public fascination followed, Photographs of giant spider crabs with meter-long legs circulated widely, inspiring curiosity and myth alike. Yet these images capture only surface impressions. Beneath lies a creature defined by patience rather than spectacle. Modern research increasingly emphasizes conservation, recognizing that deep-sea ecosystems recover slowly from disturbance. Spider crabs serve as indicator species, their presence reflecting habitat stability, their absence signaling ecological disruption. International agreements now regulate deep-sea trawling in some regions, and environmental assessments precede mining exploration. Yet protection remains incomplete. Scientific understanding continues to guide policy. Human encounters with deep-sea spider crabs remain rare, mediated through cameras, specimens, and data streams. But each encounter deepens appreciation for life adapted to darkness. Through science, these silent wanderers now inform our understanding of planetary systems, linking surface climate, ocean circulation, and abyssal biodiversity. Although deep-sea spider crabs live far below surface storms and seasonal temperature swings, they are not isolated from planetary change. Processes unfolding in the atmosphere and upper ocean gradually propagate downward, altering conditions even in the most remote abyssal habitats. Surface warming modifies ocean circulation, changing the strength and direction of currents that transport nutrients and larvae. These shifts influence where marine snow settles, reshaping feeding grounds that spider crabs depend upon. Reductions in surface plankton productivity translate into diminished organic input to the deep sea, effectively reducing food availability for benthic communities. Ocean acidification presents additional challenges. As atmospheric carbon dioxide dissolves into seawater, pH decreases, reducing carbonate ion availability. Although spider crabs possess thinner exoskeletons than shallow water species, shell formation still relies on calcium compounds. Altered chemistry may increase energetic costs of molting and growth. Temperature changes at depth occur slowly, but even small increases affect metabolic processes. Warmer waters accelerate biochemical reactions, increasing oxygen demand while dissolved oxygen availability declines. This imbalance may constrain activity levels, reproduction, and survival over long timescales. Climate-driven expansion of oxygen minimum zones also threatens deep habitats. Reduced oxygen concentration forces species to migrate vertically or laterally. Spider crabs with limited mobility may experience habitat compression, crowding into shrinking zones of tolerable chemistry. These changes unfold gradually, measured in decades rather than years, making impacts difficult to detect in short-term studies. Yet long-lived organisms like spider crabs integrate these shifts across lifetimes, providing biological records of environmental transformation. Larval dispersal routes may also be altered, changing connectivity between populations. Genetic exchange could decline as currents reorganize, increasing isolation of regional groups, reducing resilience against localized disturbances. Despite these pressures, deep-sea spider crabs have endured past climate oscillations, ice ages, and warming periods, their survival rooted in flexibility and low-energy lifestyles. Yet the unprecedented rate of current change introduces uncertainty beyond historical experience. Scientists now monitor deep-sea communities for early indicators of climate impact. Spider crabs serve as sentinels. Their distribution, body condition, and reproductive success offering insight into ecosystem health. Through these quiet signals, the deep ocean communicates surface change, revealing that no part of Earth remains untouched by global processes. And so, beneath dark water columns, spider crabs continue their slow journeys, adapting silently as planetary systems evolve around them. Though rarely seen, deep-sea spider crabs play a quiet but essential role in Earth's largest ecosystem, the deep ocean. Their daily activities contribute to nutrient cycling, sediment structure, and energy flow across benthic environments spanning millions of square kilometers. By feeding on marine snow and organic debris, spider crabs help regulate the accumulation of surface-derived material on the seafloor, preventing excessive buildup while redistributing nutrients laterally through their movement. This mixing of sediments enhances microbial activity, accelerates decomposition, and supports diverse invertebrate communities. Their scavenging behavior ensures rapid processing of large organic falls, fish carcasses, jelly organisms, and whale remains become integrated into benthic food webs rather than persisting as isolated deposits. Spider crabs act as mobile recyclers, linking episodic events with continuous ecological processes. Attached organisms carried on their bodies further expand influence. Sponges filter water, hydroids capture plankton, microbial films metabolize waste. Each spider crab functions as a small traveling ecosystem, increasing habitat complexity across otherwise uniform sediment plains. Predators depend indirectly on spider crabs as well, both through direct consumption and through the prey network spider crabs support. Energy captured from surface photosynthesis ultimately passes through multiple trophic levels before reaching apex deep-sea species. Reproductive cycles connect deep habitats with surface waters. Larvae feed in plankton-rich zones, then descend, transporting energy vertically and maintaining genetic connectivity across ocean basins. Spider crabs thus participate in bidirectional exchange between ocean layers. Their contribution to carbon sequestration remains significant. By incorporating organic carbon into long-lived biomass and facilitating burial of material within sediments, spider crabs help regulate atmospheric carbon concentrations over geological timescales. Even their slow walking shapes ecosystems. Tracks across sediment influence microhabitat formation, affecting bacterial distribution and invertebrate settlement patterns. Small disturbances accumulate into large-scale ecological structure. Though individual actions appear minimal, collectively, spider crabs influence vast regions of the seafloor, maintaining stability through continuous low-intensity interaction with their environment. They remind us that ecosystems are not sustained solely by large charismatic predators, but by countless quiet organisms performing incremental tasks over immense spans of time. And so, beneath layers of water, beyond human awareness, deep-sea spider crabs continue shaping planetary systems, step by careful step. For much of Earth's history, the deep ocean remained protected by distance and depth. Human influence faded long before reaching abyssal plains. Yet in recent decades, technology has begun to bridge this separation, bringing fishing, mining exploration, and infrastructure into environments once considered unreachable. Deep-sea spider crabs now face pressures their ancestors never encountered. Bottom trawling disturbs sediment layers accumulated over thousands of years, removing slow-growing communities and altering food pathways. Recovery in these regions may take decades or longer, because recolonization depends on larval return rather than rapid adult migration. Proposed deep-sea mining introduces additional risk. Extraction of polymetallic nodules and sulfide deposits would resuspend fine sediments, smother filter feeders, disrupt chemical gradients, and fragment habitats across wide areas. Spider crabs inhabiting these zones could lose attachment sites and feeding grounds simultaneously. Noise pollution from exploration vessels and submersibles alters vibration landscapes, interfering with sensory cues used for navigation and feeding. Although effects remain under study, early evidence suggests behavioral changes in multiple deep-sea species. Climate-driven reductions in surface productivity further compound these threats. Less marine snow reaches the abyss, decreasing energy availability for organisms already operating at minimal margins. Long-lived species like spider crabs cannot quickly adapt to abrupt food shortages. Conservation efforts now seek to protect representative deep-sea habitats through marine protected areas. International agreements regulate fishing practices in some regions, and environmental impact assessments accompany industrial proposals. However, enforcement remains challenging across international waters. Spider crabs serve as flagship species for deep-sea conservation. Their slow growth and ecological importance highlighting vulnerability of abyssal ecosystems. Protecting them indirectly safeguards entire benthic communities. Scientists emphasize precautionary approaches, recognizing that deep-sea recovery occurs on humanly unimaginable timescales. Damage inflicted today may persist for centuries. Public awareness grows as images and stories from the deep circulate globally, transforming abstract ocean depths into tangible ecosystems deserving protection. The future of deep-sea spider crabs depends on choices made far above the waterline: energy policy, climate mitigation, and responsible resource management will determine whether these ancient creatures continue their quiet journeys across abyssal plains. And so, standing at the intersection of discovery and exploitation, humanity now carries responsibility for environments it has only just begun to understand. The deep-sea spider crab does not teach through display, it teaches through persistence. Its existence offers quiet insight into how life endures under extreme constraint, where energy is limited, pressure immense, and change unfolds slowly. From its anatomy, we learn that efficiency surpasses strength. Elongated limbs distribute weight, thin shells conserve minerals, and regeneration replaces brute defense. Survival emerges from structure rather than force. From its feeding, we learn patience. Nourishment arrives gradually, scattered across vast spaces. Yet consistent filtering sustains life across decades. Abundance is unnecessary when efficiency is refined. From its reproduction, we learn investment, few offspring, long development, and wide dispersal ensure continuity despite high early mortality. Resilience comes from strategy rather than quantity. From its camouflage, we learn cooperation. Living armor formed through symbiosis demonstrates that survival can be shared, organisms supporting organisms. Boundaries between individual and environment dissolving. From its sensory world, we learn adaptability. Vision yields to chemistry, sound to vibration. Perception reorganizes when light disappears. Intelligence manifests not as cognition, but as alignment with physical laws. From its slow growth, we learn respect for time. Life in the abyss unfolds over spans that exceed human planning horizons. Ecosystems stabilize through centuries rather than seasons. These lessons extend beyond biology. They reflect planetary processes, carbon cycling, nutrient redistribution, and climate regulation all operate through quiet repetition rather than dramatic change. The spider crab reminds us that much of Earth functions invisibly, far from human attention, yet essential to global stability. As exploration continues, these creatures become ambassadors of deep time, urging careful stewardship of environments that cannot recover quickly from disturbance. Their silent journeys across abyssal plains carry messages written in anatomy and behavior, messages about sustainability, restraint, and coexistence with natural systems. And so, by studying the deep-sea spider crab, we gain not only scientific knowledge, but perspective on how life persists through balance rather than dominance. As observation ends and submersible lights fade, the deep-sea spider crab resumes its quiet rhythm, stepping slowly back into shadows where human presence disappears, returning to an environment shaped only by pressure, gravity, and current. There is no acknowledgement of being seen, no memory of passing machines. The crab simply continues walking across sediment plains, probing with delicate claws, following chemical trails drifting through cold water. Its living camouflage reestablishes equilibrium. Sponges filter surrounding flow. Hydroids capture passing particles. Microbial films metabolize waste. The crab once again becomes moving habitat rather than subject of study. Feeding resumes when opportunity arises. Movement slows when resources thin. Molting proceeds when energy allows. Reproduction occurs when chemistry aligns. Every process unfolding without urgency. Above, ships travel, satellites orbit, and surface climates fluctuate. Yet here, the abyss remains steady. Deep-sea spider crabs persist within rhythms older than human civilization. Eventually, individuals complete lifespans measured in decades, their bodies returning to sediment, contributing carbon and nutrients back to benthic systems, larvae already drifting elsewhere, ensuring continuity. No monument marks their passage, only redistributed particles, altered microbial communities, and subtle tracks across soft seafloor. Returning to the dark is not disappearance. It is integration, becoming part of planetary circulation once more. And so, beneath kilometers of water, deep-sea spider crabs continue their silent journeys, maintaining ecosystems through patience, shaping the abyss through countless careful steps. In the vast architecture of Earth's oceans, where sunlight fades into pressure and motion slows into geological time, the deep-sea spider crab remains one of countless quiet participants shaping life beneath the surface. Its existence measured not in dramatic encounters, but in continuous interaction with sediment, current, and chemistry. Across millions of years, this lineage has adapted to scarcity rather than abundance, to darkness rather than light, and to patience rather than speed. Every element of its biology reflects this alignment. Elongated limbs distribute weight across fragile planes. Thin shells conserve precious minerals. Sensory systems read invisible gradients, and regeneration replaces conflict. Through feeding, spider crabs recycle surface-derived carbon into deep-sea food webs. Through movement, they redistribute nutrients across benthic landscapes. Through reproduction, they connect abyssal ecosystems with plankton-rich surface waters. And through simple persistence, they help stabilize one of Earth's largest habitats. They do not dominate their environment. They integrate with it, becoming moving reefs, living filters, and silent engineers within systems that operate far beyond human perception. Modern science now brings their world briefly into view, revealing complexity once hidden forever. Yet understanding remains incomplete. Much of their behavior unfolds unseen, in places cameras cannot reach and instruments cannot remain. As humanity expands its reach into deeper waters, the fate of creatures like the deep-sea spider crab becomes entwined with human choices. Conservation, climate mitigation, and responsible exploration will determine whether these ancient wanderers continue their slow journeys across abyssal plains. They remind us that planetary health depends not only on visible forests and reefs, but on invisible ecosystems operating in darkness, quietly regulating carbon, recycling nutrients, and sustaining biodiversity. In observing the deep-sea spider crab, we glimpse a broader truth. Life persists through cooperation with physical laws rather than conquest of them. Survival emerges from balance rather than force, and endurance arises from patience more than power. And so, as attention returns to surface worlds, deep-sea spider crabs remain below, opening into currents, walking across silent plains, and continuing a lineage shaped by gravity, time, and the steady movement of Earth's oceans.